Welcome into the KC Soccer Report here on Sports TV Plus. You're watching us on True TV Plus, on TCL TVs, on Carbon TV, Sports.tv, and Watchy. We appreciate being able to bring you the news of the beautiful game from Kansas City. This week, the NWSL kicked off their season as the KC Current opened up play for the third straight year against the Portland Thorns. They won again 3-1 down on the riverfront at CPKC Stadium. The Current starting off strong, as we kind of anticipated, as this is a team that really seems destined for a run to at least the conference final and hopefully ending in the championship, getting that one level past where they did last year. Sporting Kansas City had some drama themselves, as they've been winless so far this season, but they did get their first decision, a 3-3 draw against the Minnesota United, but it took a little while to get going. Sporting Kansas City completes their biggest comeback during the course of a game by getting a draw 3-3 against the United after being down 3-0. Daniel Shallowy came in as a second half substitute. And to quote Sporting Kansas City striker Dejan, he gave the team wings. Shallowy's goal led to that dramatic comeback, a 3-3 draw. So we have a stage set for an eventful week this week in Kansas City soccer as well. Sporting Kansas City stays at home as they continue a homestand, taking on LAFC. That's coming up Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time at Children's Mercy Park. And the Kansas City Current travel to the nation's capital. They take on the Washington Spirit. That is Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. So the season is rolling, and we have a lot of action to bring you from both sides. But we're going to start with an exclusive interview with Sporting Kansas City keeper John Pulskamp. I had a chance to talk to him right after the game. Here's John talking about that game, that comeback, and how this may be able to get the chemistry going and get Sporting moving in the right direction. First time in Sporting history that come back from 3-0 to get a decision. Yeah, which I wasn't aware of that.
It's nice, awesome.
How much does that help? Because I think the teams outplayed the results so far. I imagine you guys feel that.
Agreed.
Is it good to get a result knowing you got so much turnover?
Yeah.
Just to give you guys a little bit of a boost as you're going into training, getting ready for a homestand?
Yeah. This result, I think, should propel us forward so far. I think all of us hit a point in this game where it really just we were all triggered in the sense of we're getting a result this game, we're getting points this game, and the fact that we pulled it off should definitely motivate everyone and give a bit of a momentum to everyone and hopefully carries on into next week and start putting some wins together.
And just one more.
Yeah, of course.
Peter mentioned it, that this was the first time since the beginning of training camp you had 4 training sessions in 1 week.
Yeah. No, have not turned
How much more, I'll take it for it, how much more do we get in building chemistry from training than game to game? That's
what it is. I mean, look, I think people sometimes think training is working on maybe like technical things, but that's we're all technically great players. In training, the whole purpose of training, the real purpose of training is to tactically get on the same page, to build the chemistry. You can get 11 great players together, but if they don't have the training to get on the same page tactically, they aren't going to play well no matter who the 11 guys are. And vice versa. If you have 11 guys, though, that get into training and get consistent time, getting on the same page tactically, that's where the results really will start to come. So I think, we just need a bit more time together. Like you said, I never want to say it's an excuse, but it is a factor. Exactly. It's just the reality of the situation is that we haven't had consistent build-ups into games. We haven't had the time to really work on these sort of things on the field and in the classroom. So hopefully going forward now we'll have a more consistent build-up into going into games.
Now, in addition to talking to John, I was able to join some of our fellow reporters in Kansas City and get a chance to talk with Dejan Djokovic about how he's feeling Sporting Kansas City's going and if we're moving in the right direction. He gets that goal that created the tie, and you can see the intensity in Dejan. He's really excited to contribute. And this is a guy who came over from the LA Galaxy, last year's MLS champions, a $5 million cash transfer, the first cash for player trade in MLS history. So he's an important part to this rebuilding Sporting Kansas City team. Here's Dejan talking with us.
Get the equalizer there. Just what do you think the response says about you guys and the team?
Start was very bad, but the response was amazing. I mean, after 3-0 down, to come back, it's huge. This 1 point is very important for our confidence, and I'm very happy. But for the next games, we need to see how to start 1-0 up for us, not for the other team. So we are gonna fix that. This is like good injection for us, and then hopefully we are gonna win some points.
It felt like at some point, like body language on the field wasn't great, but also that first goal goes in and things start picking up. Did you notice at what point did you kind of have belief that it would that you guys were really firing and had the shot at it?
Of course, body language was not that great after 2-0, especially when we started second half. We conceded after 10 seconds. I mean, emotionally we were down, but we kept going. And of course, the players who came from the bench, I want to say especially Danny. I mean, he gave us the wings, and we fly together.
In the first few games, there have been some good passing sequences, but obviously, just searching for that goal. Now you guys have 3 goals. Does it feel like, with more training and time, you guys are starting to unlock that chemistry, and does it feel like maybe this can be a turning point and you can keep building on that?
Of course, I hope that this is like turn around. This point is gonna make us, is gonna give us confidence, and especially chemistry is great. Every day is better. Of course, there are new players, especially Shapi and Manu. They came from the Europe in the new league, and also these conditions in a couple of weeks were like unexpected, and they need to use to this weather, especially here. And yeah, we are gonna give them support, and like for everyone else, Kai is also back, and I'm happy to see all the guys healthy and ready to fight.
And then I think you maybe took more touches in and around the box tonight than all the other games this season. Is that just the kind of chemistry coming together with your teammates?
Yes, of course. I mean, I would like to take more touches inside of the box, but like the goal I scored. But yeah, it's gonna come with the games, and yeah, we are gonna get there. We are gonna get there for sure.
I think the goal you scored felt like a spot that I've seen you in and score tons of goals in this league at this point. I mean, how is it like in that working with guys to try and get you into those spots and find you in those spots? How have those conversations been trying to work on that?
Yeah, goal was great. I scored a similar goal against LFC like 2 or 3 years ago in the playoffs, in the semifinals. What did you ask?
How in trying to get into those spots, how have you guys kind of worked and kind of?
Yes, like we are working. We know what's the idea. We need to follow coaches' advices, and then we gotta make the chemistry between us. It's not Coach Peter or other coaches. They're not gonna play. They're just giving us solutions, and we are the players, and we need to make something to create something. So it's on us.
You said it is on you there, but like at some point, is it like once you find that connection and that solution, then is it difficult searching for that solution and finally getting it kind of frees you up in a way?
I want to say it's not that easy to find the chemistry and find the solutions, because I don't know. I'm still learning how the other players are moving. I know few players from the league. I played against them many times, but now I'm every day with them. So it's still some let's say, time of adaptation, but I don't want to use that word. I need to be ready like every other guy, like immediately. So yeah, next 4 games, 3 games we play at home, and I expect a lot of points.
Next week's against LAFC. You know them well from your time in the Galaxy. So, how's it feel playing against them, but knowing it's not part of Old Trafford this time?
Nothing special, to be honest. It's same game like every other game. Even when I was in LA, I was saying the same thing. So we need to take 3 points. Doesn't matter if we play against St. Louis or LAFC. It doesn't matter. So points are most important.
Will getting another 4 practice training sessions help even more, because you can see the chemistry, you can kind of see you guys are linking together passes more, just feel more comfortable.
Yes, obviously we scored 3 goals. I mean, that's a lot. Next step is how to not concede. So that's our goal for the next game. If we keep 0, I'm sure that we are gonna score every game. So
that's what you do.
Yep.
The chance to sit and hear from Peter Vermes in the post-match press conference, and Peter's been getting a lot of questions because the winless start, all the transactions, all the change, it creates a different culture, and it's something that is very unusual to Sporting Kansas City, who's been an established, consistent winner and had a lot of foundational pieces. Well, they're not here anymore. Daniel Shalhoub is really about the only one left over that you would consider kind of a core player from the previous generation of Sporting Kansas City. Graham Zusi was gone. Last year he retired. Roger Espinoza is on the coaching staff now. Tim Melia out of the league. Andrew Fontas is officially retired. Johnny Russell currently out of the league. So you've seen lots and lots of turnover. And unfortunately for Sporting, the way the timing works out, the way the transfer windows fall in MLS, a lot of that turnover happened literally within a week of the season beginning in that frigid game against Inter Miami in the CONCACAF Champions League here. Shapi Suleimanov had just arrived. Manu Garcia literally just arrived a couple of days before, and Dejan had arrived within a week before that important game. Add in Jacob Bartlett, the homegrown player from Notre Dame. Andrew Brody, who was picked up literally a day or 2 before the game. You have massive turnover. They're just now getting a chance to get into a rhythm, start to develop some chemistry. It's the exact opposite of what's going on the other side of the state line with the Kansas City Current, where they have put their players together. They got their roster in place, and they're just trying to add 1 or 2 pieces. Wholesale change for Sporting Kansas City. Even John Pulskamp, who's been with the organization for 6 years, it's his first year as keeper number 1. Here's what Peter had to say about how he's dealing with this kind of tumultuous start to the season and being able to at least get that first decision under the belt, because it could be a sign of better things to come. It's Peter Vermes.
Carlos, how are you?
Coach, what would you like to say to the fans who left when the score were down 3-0, and happy with the result tonight?
I don't think I have anything. It wouldn't be fair, because I don't. Am I happy with the result? I'm very happy with the mentality to come back. That part, very good. And I also think that in the first half, we deserved a lot more from the half, but you don't deserve it when you give up the 2 goals that we did. Come out at halftime, same thing. So there's nothing to say to the fans other than I would say it more from the perspective of that we can't do that on a regular basis. You can't keep chasing games because like the guy who scored the first goal, it was a great strike, but he should never be that open. That ball should never be there without us being able to clear it. So, but I can say this: it shows that at least the guys are trying to, like, they're fighting, and that part's very good. It's easy for a team not to fight, but they did. They could have given up, and I'm probably most disappointed at the end with the fact after we tied, I think we took our foot off the gas pedal just a little bit. I think we had them at that point. We could have kept going, and we for whatever reason, maybe they felt good that they got back into the game and they didn't want to then give something away, but we had them.
What was the message at halftime? Down 2-0. I know it's unfortunate to give up that goal, but the way that tide turned, it turned pretty quickly for you guys.
Well, I think halftime now doesn't mean anything. I think what it is the guys that came on in the game, they all had a really positive contribution to the team. Like, they drove the game. There were some things that we worked on that those guys, when they came in, they actually got to it right away. They were very good from that perspective.
You mentioned those guys, Leibold and Shalway. They team up for that first goal that kind of lights things off. Just what do you feel like everyone else saw the switch flip at that point that kind of put more energy around everyone else?
Well, there was a lot of time left, and like I said, if you take away the 2 goals in the first half, we played very well. Like, we were good with the ball. This is a team that's hard to break down. And, man, we were in moments right on top of their box, maybe a little bit more composure. Maybe you got to give them a little credit. What they do well is those guys step to the ball and get their body always in front of the ball. So, but we were in and around the box, but we weren't really killer yet. Second half, much different mentality, much more aggressiveness in that regard. And it was hard for them because our movement off the ball was they were running all over the place. And you could see the tide change in the group for sure.
In that the second, how important was the quick succession of the second goal?
Yeah, and I don't know if you realize, but on the first goal when we scored, we didn't grab the ball and pick it up and run it back to halftime. On the second goal, we did, and you could see that the mentality even changed more, like in our favor in that way.
Looking forward towards the season, because we've talked about how it's a rebuilding year, how much does it help to have the second half and see what's possible and help build that chemistry with the team?
I don't want to say that what's possible is coming back from 3-0 all the time.
Sure.
But I think what I have been speaking about here recently is that the front guys and them just needing some time, because you can see that they're driving the team in a positive direction. And it was good for them to get rewarded with a bunch of goals like that today. It was really good because it's been there. It's been there in the last couple of games. We're just off a little bit. Excuse me, maybe the pace of the ball and the final pass isn't strong enough. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a guy overhits it just a little bit. It just does that, and tonight, some things actually worked out really well, and that was good, especially in the second half.
And just one more, the aggressiveness that Choppy showed, you could visibly see the fight in him. Does that help? Does that help?
Yeah,
bring the guys together?
he's not only very technically skilled in his position, but he's a real worker. He's a fighter. And it's great to have that within the group. It is. He's tough. I think any guy that goes up against him is going to have his work cut out for him on any day that he plays, because he does also play both sides of the ball. He's very honest in that regard, which is very helpful, especially if you're the right back on your team.
Peter, you mentioned the guys that came in sort of changed the aggressiveness and the tone of the game. Daniel being one of them hasn't gotten the starts that he has in years past, but what would you say it says about his mentality in this season, knowing that he's not in his typical starting role, but he still came in and fought and sparked it?
Everybody on this roster, like any other time that's always been on this team, if you want to be upset with me because you're not playing the position you want to, you're not playing, whatever, that's fine. But you always have to be prepared for when you come in. And as I said, all the guys that came off the bench, very, very positive, very positive for us. And that's what a team needs. Right? It's not gonna always fall your way. This is the way sports are. And when you do get called upon, you have to be ready to perform. And that was good. It was good by all those guys.
And Peter, we saw Kyrie get his first minutes of 2025 tonight. What did you think of his limited minutes out there?
Yeah, we got him in the game because we wanted to get some more height, especially with all the set pieces. And then the other thing is that we wanted to get him back on because at the end of the day, we're taking some real attributes away from Jake, when he's in the midfield. And so I thought Memo, when he came on, he was very good. And Rado was working, like he was in the game. It was a hard one to switch out. There was a possibility we might have maybe moved Jake into the midfield, but the 1-for-1 and getting Kyrie back in on the field, we need the guys on the roster right now. This is the way it is. And the fact that those guys haven't played, getting them minutes tonight again in a game like this was very good.
And then you mentioned Jake in the midfield. He was really far up the pitch a lot tonight, really involved in the attack, in the 18-yard box a lot. Kind of, is that something you're looking forward to having from the midfield instead of having to come all the way from right back?
Well, in his position, that was by design for tonight. And then in the second half, he was a lot more pushed in as a midfielder at times. But that's, again, I think that's where he's unpredictable in a good way.
I know you said you don't want to come back from 3-0 down every time, but what do you hope that the comeback stirs within that locker room?
Look, I think we got to create perspective, right? I don't think in the first 3 games we played that we deserve not to get any points in any of those games. That I don't think. But that's the game. The other is that when you're, sometimes goals are going to happen. They're just going to happen. And when they do, the most important thing you have to look at is response. And in each one of the games that we've played in thus far, our response has been good. But when if you don't get rewarded for it, you miss something. You don't build confidence in certain aspects. I think tonight, coming back that way, it should give a little confidence to the guys as we move through. And as I said, this was our in our whenever we met on Friday or Thursday, I can't remember which day we met for a press conference, but this past week was our first week we have 4 days training in a row before a game since the first phase of preseason. We need training. We have a lot of new guys in our team. We're playing a different way. They have to gel together, and all that's going to happen between playing games and training, and we need a lot more training, and it's great that we have another week of training ahead of us.
This game, this home matchup against LAFC, it really sets up well for Sporting Kansas City. It's about as even a game as you can get. The analytics, the betting line has Sporting Kansas City winning 36% of the time, LA winning 37% of the time, and the game ending up in a draw at 27%. That's about as close as you can get because they're not even numbers. Those are rounded up. It's actually like 36.2, 36.8, and 27. So anybody's ball game. I'd like to think momentum will help carry Sporting Kansas City before they have to embark on a road trip the following week to take on FC Dallas. They're on that regular schedule now where they're going to get a full week of practice and then a game. And I think that'll make a huge difference. And it's so early in the league right now. Every team, with the exception of the Vancouver Whitecaps, who have started out 4-0, have no more than 2 wins. So nothing is decided. Nothing's out of reach. And even with the slow start at 1 draw and 3 losses, Sporting Kansas City's right there. The whole season lies ahead of them. Let's talk about the NWSL now because the season definitely lies ahead of them. But the Kansas City Current opened the season up with a commanding 3-1 victory. Temwa Chawinga scores on this goal right at the start of the game, less than 5 minutes in, and Temwa gets her strike as she's racing to defend her golden boot from last year. That is what you came to expect to see from the Kansas City Current. Of course, Temwa, not the only player with an amazing goal, because U.S. women's national team member Michelle Cooper, who just got her first caps for the national team earlier this month, she struck from long range. Here's her goal for the Current. Then we're talking about some acquisitions and how the Kansas City Current, they've made some acquisitions, but not like Sporting, just a few here and there to work into their system. Well, one of those key acquisitions was their new goalkeeper, Lorena, the national keeper for the Brazilian team. And right here, she showed why she is considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Look at that save. That's an element to the game that is going to really raise the level of the current, because you now have a difference maker in the goal as well. After the game, we had a chance to talk with current head coach Vlatko about his feelings opening up this season on the shores of the Missouri River. Here's Vlatko.
Coach, I don't know if you could have drawn that startup any better. Just what do you say about the way the team jumped out of the gates today?
I thought it was great. Obviously, we wanted to start with a goal, but we wanted to start multiple goals, but I honestly did not expect to score 3 in the first half, which was a very great beginning for us. This was something we talked about in the locker room before the game, that we knew that there will be energy in the stadium. We knew that there is going to be an energy coming from the fans, and we just wanted to take advantage of it. We wanted to match that energy and capitalize on it.
You get goals from 3 different players, and everybody's chipping in with goals and assists there. Maybe at times last year, Temwa was kind of the only one that was doing the scoring for you. How does it? Do you like seeing the bulk of the scoring load kind of shared in the way that it was today?
Yes, I'm very happy with that, and that's something that we addressed a lot in the preseason. Temwa is still impacting the game so much, and we knew that she's going to be a focal point for lots of defenses or the opponents' defenses. So we worked on how to get the other players involved and put them in good situations to score goals. And I'm glad it worked out well, and we took advantage of that one.
We'll stay in the room with Jimmy Mack.
Coach, congrats on the win. Sticking with Temwa, obviously we know she can score goals, but it looks like she's also worked on and improved her passing and ball distribution this year. What are you seeing from her there, and where can she go as the reigning MVP if she adds that even more to her game?
Yes, like I said in a previous answer, we worked a lot on other aspects of the game for Temwa, not just scoring goals. We know she can score, and she showed it again. But defenses work on double teaming her or creating numbers around her when we're in attack. So the main thing was for her to get the other players involved and then find them in good areas, good spaces, or if not, can she make the right runs in the right time so she can open up space for other players to come in, which I thought was very good.
And then Dabinia obviously had the goal, but outside of just the goal, just incredible distribution, was all over the field. Just seems like she's in top form. What did you like that you saw from her today?
So happy with her form. We saw that every time she touched the ball, something happened. We scored a goal. She gets an assist. She puts people in dangerous spaces. So very happy for her. I hope this is just the beginning. This one game for her, and we can see the same form or even better going forward.
1 second. We're going to go to the Zoom for one question from Brad Lake. Brad, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, hi Coach, how are you? Brad from Women's Sports Nation. How impressed were you today by your team's attack on the Portland goal? Michelle's goal was an amazing strike. Can you speak to the offense?
Yes, very happy. Anytime you score 3 goals, you have to be happy with your offense. I think that the players scored goals, but also found themselves in more goal-scoring opportunities. I don't want to sound unthankful if I say that we should have scored more or we could have scored more. And that's a positive thing. The fact that we're creating opportunities, the fact that we're getting in good chances, it's very positive, and hopefully we can capitalize on more in the future.
Thank you,
Thank you.
We'll go back in the room with Chad.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the win. Michelle Cooper, she was playing a little maybe withdrawn on the wing, and DiBernardo was up top a little bit more. Can you kind of talk to us about the plan you had for her in the game? And obviously it worked really well. She did find the back of the net, too.
I don't know how much I can disclose in how they were working with each other. Yes, Coop had a different role defensively, and Vanessa was a little bit higher, as you mentioned. But even offensively, we saw interchange where sometimes Coop was inside and Vanessa outside, and we saw even Coop lower, Vanessa higher. I thought they did incredible playing off of each other and manipulating the defensive line, opponent's defensive line, to get in good areas to impact the game.
And then on a lighter note, after the game, one of your players got engaged. How much did you know about that? And kind of tell us your reaction.
I didn't know until the very last second. Lo came to me and said, "Do you know what is happening now?" I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for any surprises. So I started looking around. She goes, "No, Ellie's getting proposed." What a special moment. So happy for them. Very happy for Ellie and Roman. And I know they've been together for a long time. This is a special moment for her, but obviously for the team too. The players all loved it. We all love it. So that's great.
We'll stay in the room. Go ahead.
Hi, Madeline Fox with KCUR. So most of the starting 11 was very familiar from last year and even previous years, but Lorena was new in goal. Can you tell me a little bit about what you thought of her performance today?
Yeah, I thought she was good. She was solid. Made one great save, unbelievable save, which was good. And then she did her part in all the other ones. They were not tough saves by any means, but she had to be solid there in those moments. And just overall, I think it's a good beginning for her. I think that we're gonna see good. We're gonna have a good, solid goalkeeper in her.
Yeah, so this is kind of a transition period for you guys. I mean, you've had AD Branch for quite a while. So how are you thinking about building that strength in goal and the players, the keepers you signed in the offseason?
Yes, all three keepers that we signed are very good, and it's good for the coaching staff, because we don't have to motivate Lorena any more than that she's motivated by the competition that she has in Laurel and Claire. So that's what makes us happy. It makes our job a little bit easier, but in the same time, it pushes her to be the best.
Go ahead. We'll stay in the room.
Coach, congratulations on the win. You've talked a lot about your offense, and you talked about your goalkeeper. Can you speak to your defense a little bit today? It looked like there was a little taking the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. Your defense kind of gave up an early goal, gave up a penalty. Is this kind of like the perfect match for you as a manager, knowing that you won 3-1 but still have things to improve on?
Yes, absolutely. I thought they were good. There was a moment when we got scored on. I thought that's something that cannot happen. It shouldn't happen. It's a small mistake that obviously made a huge difference, or we got scored on. So that's something that we're gonna have to tighten up. And the penalty, I actually don't know if it was on the defenders. I know it hit Kayla's arm, but she reacted properly, did what she needed to do in the moment. So overall, obviously we're looking at the defense or the defensive line, but we're looking at our defensive organized shape and looking at every single person on the field if they did their part in order for us to prevent a goal.
All right, we'll go back to the Zoom with Sean with W Swish. Sean, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Coach. Sean with W Swish. Congrats on the win. And I was just wondering, could you kind of evaluate a little bit some of your newer players and how you think they gel both in the preseason practice and in the game today?
Yes, I've said before, the new players that came in, they were amazing in preseason, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them. We're going to see them in different times throughout the season, in different roles, whether it's a starting role, starting lineup, or coming off the bench, or or closing a game. So we're very happy. We saw Hallie and Rocky today. I thought they did good. They did what they needed to do to help us secure the win, and it was a good introduction for them. I've said before, our team was very good. To come in and break into the lineup, it's not easy. So they're just working hard every day. They're patient and looking and waiting for the right opportunity to step in.
We'll go back to the Zoom with Blake Spadero. Blake, go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, Coach, this is Blake Spadero from W Swish. What did you think of your offensive execution in the first half compared to the second half?
Obviously, the result speaks for itself. A lot more happier and pleased in the first half with the execution, but overall, I thought that we created enough in the second half to score at least one goal, if not more. So it's something that we're going to have to review and look what we could have done different to score those goals.
All right, we've got one more from the Zoom, and then we'll wrap up with Daniel. Wes Underwood, go ahead and ask your question.
Wes, you're on mute.
All right, well, then we'll move on to the last one in the room. Daniel, go ahead.
When you brought Rocky on, it seemed like you were kind of playing her in that double pivot with Lowe. I don't know that I've seen Rocky play defensive mid in that kind of spot. So can you just kind of talk about how she did in that spot and maybe the versatility that she has to play across the midfield?
I thought she was great. She did exactly what we needed to do. She secured that area right in front of the center backs, because right before she came in, there were a few balls that came right in the middle, straight towards the center back. So we wanted to make sure that we are safe in that area. We push everything on the outside and then defend from there. I was very happy with her and the execution.
Then, following talking with Vlatko about the team, we did get a chance to talk with a couple of the players as well. We mentioned Michelle Cooper earlier, as she had a key role with that impactful long-range goal. And we also talked with new midfielder Rocky Rodriguez about opening up the season, getting that win over Portland. Here's Michelle and Rocky.
Congrats on the win, ladies. Michelle, the goal, left foot. Just what did you see in there, and were you surprised that you picked out the top corner like that?
Yeah, I think you could tell by my shock. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe it got over. I was just the window was so narrow between her hand and the crossbar, but yeah, that felt great. And to be able to execute that, we focus a lot on our transition off of defensive throw-ins, and I think that is a big piece for us. And so to be able to capitalize on that was huge.
For you, Rocky, congrats, first game here for the home team. How did it feel like to play out here, and ultimately, you come in the midfield and kind of help close down that game? What were the comments to Vlatko for you before you went out?
Yeah, it's I was really excited for this game. Definitely nervous, but nervous, excited. And the way that the game was going, we had to protect the score and bring the energy up. The early goal for Portland in the second half, I think, it didn't change much, but coming into the game, we knew we had to bring the energy up and help out a team. So that was the main focus, just bring the energy up and score more goals, hopefully. And then the most important thing was to win.
Go ahead.
3 minutes into the game, Temwa starts things off right. How does that set the tone for you as a team to pick up where things left off last year with the MVP scoring, like that?
Yeah, I think Temwa is just a force to be reckoned with. And I think everyone knows that. She's going to get her chances. She's going to get in behind, and she's going to execute. And that's something we know as a team, that she is going to show up, do her role to her fullest, and to be able to get on the scoreboard that early is huge for us, especially at home. We have our 12th man, which is our fans, and to be able to have them rally behind us that early in the game is huge.
And then Vlatko mentioned, obviously there were times last year where, most of the goals were coming from Temuera, especially in stretches, but you get on the board, Dabini gets on the board, and it seemed like the ball movement across the team was in top form already in the first game of the year. So what was your impression on the field of how things moved, and how did it feel different from last year when at times maybe it was all working through Temuera as opposed to today?
Yeah, I think we're trying to grow our game, and last year was like our starting point for us. We had all new staff, we had a rotation of players in, and now to be able to have that year under our belt, which was really successful, like obviously Temuera was a huge part in that. We want to be able to be dynamic and have teams not expect us as much to just specifically go through Temuera, and I think we showed that today.
All right, we'll take one from the Zoom. Brad Lake, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, hi ladies, Brad Lake from Women's Sports Nation. Congrats on the victory. Can you speak to your ladies' communication on the field today, especially on the defensive side of the ball? Your midfield, they were very balanced in stopping Portland's offense.
Yeah, we knew that, we make it a point that this team is just gritty. I think offensively and defensively, that is just the standard, and that's something that this team has shown since last year, and so we need to continue that. And we like to win our battles. And in the midfield, it's really important to win the second balls, if not the first balls. And so we do make that a point, and that's really important in dominating the game. It's something that we work on during the week, so it's just nice to see that it works in a game, and it's just, that's who we are.
We'll come back Go ahead and follow up, Brad.
Yes, ladies. Coach was speaking about Lorena's performance in goal. Could you add anything to that on her play this afternoon?
Yeah, super proud of her. I think this is a fun environment to come into, and to be able to have her finally make her debut with us and play a really great game and intimidate off the PK was huge. So I'm super proud of her and really happy that she finally got her debut with us.
All right, we're coming back into the room. Madeline, go ahead.
Hi, Michelle, can you compare, if you can, the feeling of scoring in the home opener versus scoring for the U.S. Women's National Team?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, guys, like comparing the two, I think like scoring a goal is just like the most exciting thing ever. Like to be able to get on the scoreboard is so much fun. But for both sides, I think you just see like the pure excitement and joy on my face just to help the team get the win and push past the opponent. I think it's just huge for me.
And Rocky, you've played for a number of teams with kind of famous fan environments and cheering sections. So how does it feel your first home game here in CPKC, and how does it compare?
It's the best.
It's the best. It doesn't compare because this is the home for the KC Current only, and in that sense, there's a sense of ownership, and to me, I feel really honored that that this team and this city opened the arms into, allowing me to be part of this, and that's what I mean. It's just special in that way. It's different that it's ours. And that's how we feel as players. And it's also, the best way to show gratitude towards that is giving it our all. And we do want to bring that joy to the city, hopefully at the end of season. But for now, we take it one step at a time. And I was really, really nervous and excited it doesn't matter how many years I've played, I was still nervous, excited, and this team, I think, I have so much respect for this organization, and I only hope to contribute to it. Yeah.
All right, we'll stay in the room just behind you. Steve?
Michelle, you were here last year. You guys both scored three goals today, as opposed to last year when you would score and then kind of let teams back into the game, right? How much of a point did you make it to make sure going into this year you guys didn't let teams back into the game?
Yeah, I think last year in the beginning of the year, you kind of saw us struggle a little bit defensively and not allowing goals in, and we made it a point throughout the entire preseason that we wanted to make sure that we locked in on every play, defensively and offensively, because we know we can score goals, we know we can transition to attack, but we knew that we wanted to limit the goals because every point matters in this league, and to take it one game at a time, one play at a time, and make sure that we give it our all.
All right, we'll go to the Zoom in between, and we will go to Blake Spadero. Blake, go ahead.
Hey ladies, this is Blake Spadero from W Switch. What did you ladies think about the offensive execution throughout the game, like the first half and the second half?
Yeah, I think we got a lot of opportunities, and I think for us, second half, obviously first half we scored 3 goals, which is like huge for us to be able to get on the scoreboard that early with that many goals. It's super important to go into the half confident, feeling good, but I think second half we just need to capitalize more because we still have the same tenacity, the same energy going forward, and at that point it's just executing in front of goal.
All right, we'll go back in the room, back to Neil Jones.
Guys, can you imagine trying to execute proposing to somebody on the field with cameras on them? What did you think about that? How did it work out?
Oh my God. The proposal? Yeah, guys. If you go find a video, I am bawling my eyes out in the background, which is so dramatic because it's not my proposal. Why am I crying? And everyone's like, I saw you crying. I was the only one crying. I'm like, surely someone has to be crying. And then I want to go up and ask Ellie, why are you not crying? You can take my tears. What the heck? I was literally so happy for her, but it's been something in the making for a while, and she had no idea. So I'm super happy that it came off as a surprise.
All right, we'll go to the Zoom. Sean with W Swish, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, ladies. Congrats on the win today. And just watching on the TV, you could feel that fan energy. What does that mean to you guys in maintaining that momentum and carrying this group all game?
Sorry, can you repeat towards the end?
Sean, can you repeat that, please? Thank you.
Yeah, you can tell the fan energy even watching. So what does it mean for you guys in using that energy to kind of maintain your play throughout the match?
Yeah, we've talked about it, and people hate to come play here, and we hope to keep it that way because the fans are a 12th man. They are absolutely huge for us, and that's something we make a huge point in our locker room to continue to bring the energy because we have some of the most loyal fans in the country. So to be able to have them throughout a 90-minute match is absolutely huge.
Thank you.
All right, we'll stay in the room. Tom, go ahead.
Congratulations to both of you on the win. After the match, we saw now Beyonce proposed her, and there was a lot of camaraderie around that celebration at that moment. What does that say about your locker room that you all are willing to celebrate other players' moments and not just yours?
Yeah, I talk about it all of the time, and I say this team is so close, and I don't think people get it. We are all so close with each other. We're doing everything together. There's always a text in the group chat. No one's ever left out, and I think we just have this love, commitment, and camaraderie around each other that is irreplaceable. And even, I think, Rocky, you can speak for yourself, but I would like to think that we feel that way about top to bottom, new players who have been here since the beginning of KC, and I think that that's something that's irreplaceable.
Yeah, I do want to add because it's true. From the perspective of being new, I had heard things about the culture here and how it is a big thing, but it's one thing to live it, and we're not just saying that. Like I said, I've been through different teams and all kinds of teams. One's not better than the other, but definitely something that I think that we need to protect. And the culture here, the closeness that the players have, I don't think it happens just because. I think it's the team has been intentional about it. I've felt really embraced. There's, I think, a sense of respect towards everybody across the board, and I think that that's what makes us strong. Yeah.
All right, we've got one more from the room. Send it over to Cindy, please. Yeah.
Hi, Rocky. Congratulations. Well, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like, you can hear me. Hi. Congratulations on the win. Rocky, I just wanted to ask you if you noticed the flag from Costa Rica. And
yes.
Okay, great. I was like, great. I wonder if she saw it. So how does that feel just to see that support from the fans, from the stands?
Yeah, they're actually my friends. Yeah, they're my friends who drove. You should have pointed out. Right. But no, it's amazing. We're a really small country, but there's a couple of us kind of around the U.S. and it's always really nice, to have like that flag, and it's a reminder that I do represent, my country. I keep that in mind all the time, but to see, that flag, it's always like, it's always nice, it's a reminder,
All right, we're going to wrap it up in the room with Steve. Go ahead.
Michelle, one more about the proposal. You said you were bawling your eyes out. How much of the planning process were you involved in?
Literally none of it. Not an ounce, nothing at all. I just found out about it. I was like, yay! And then I started crying on the field, so yeah.
And then finally, let's give our champion of the week, because it was an easy one this week. Brought to you by our sister channel, Wrestling Spotlight. I got the Wrestling Spotlight Championship belt here, and this week there can only be one champion. It is Kansas City current back Ellie Wheeler. She got a little bit of surprise as her now fiance, Roman Bravo Young, came out and did this. And Roman is an athlete as well. He's actually an Olympic level wrestler, and he is a sparring partner of Chad Gable. You see him on WWE TV. So there's some symmetry into the Wrestling Spotlight. So congratulations to Ellie Wheeler and Roman Bravo Young. We'll be back here on KC Soccer Report. You can tune in and watch us on Sports TV Plus and get it on the True TV Plus app. See us on TCL Plus TV, on Sports.tv, on Watchy TV, and on Carbon TV. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the pitch here for Sports TV Plus. I'm Daryl Bentley. Have a great week.